Hello and welcome to Library Drawing Party. Today we're going to be drawing this beautiful dog. As you can see, we're going to take a little different approach today. So we have our sample drawing here, and then I made a copy of the sample drawing and drew a grid on top of it. So the first thing that we're going to do in our drawing is to draw the grid. So this image is 5 by 7. So we're going to take our ruler and we're going to mark the 1-inch line on the top and the bottom. And then we're going to connect the lines. Now you can make this whatever size you'd like, but to keep the proportions the same, you're just going to want to make sure the ratio is the same. And then we need to do the 1-inch marks on the sides. Now you can choose to leave it just with a 1-inch grid, but I did a 1/2-inch grid. That way it's a little bit easier to see all of the different lines. So you're going to want to split these boxes in half. Now when you're drawing your grid over the original picture, you're going to apply the same technique. Okay, once you have your grid drawn, then you can start adding the outline in for your dog. I'm going to be using a slightly thicker pencil so you can see, but you can go ahead and use your number 2 pencil for this at home. So let's start in the right hand corner. So 3 boxes in is the beginning of the leash, so let's work on that. It starts in the middle and then comes down to the edge of that box. And we have another one right about the center where the line is going to be the top of the leash, or the little extra fabric that hangs off. Made that a little too high. What's nice about using the graph is that we'll be able to make an exact comparison of where the lines are in the original drawing and in our new drawing. Now in this box there's a piece of metal. So let's draw metal in, and then that actually needs to come down a bit. That's the beauty of doing this with a number 2 pencil, is that we can make these adjustments as we go along. Okay, so the top part of the leash is done. We'll add some color in once we're finished doing the outline. Next step is to start doing the head. So the tip of the head comes in about this corner, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes in and 3 boxes down. So we're just gonna draw the outline right now, and then we'll add some shading in afterwards. Alright, so far I've done the ear and I started working on the shoulder, and I'm just about to begin working on the legs. So I'm at box 1, 2, 3, box 1, 2, 3, then coming down, or actually up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So as you're going along, you can spot check and make sure that the box that you're working on is actually the box that matches up with your corresponding picture. For the toes, you don't have to get them super defined because they're gonna be blending in with the grass a bit, since the grass is gonna be coming in between the paws of the dog. You don't want to forget this foot in the background. Okay, once you have your outline drawn, then we can draw an outline of the nose. The nose almost has a heart shape. We can draw a heart shape for now. And then let's draw the eyes. Let's start with this eye. I would draw your eyes really lightly, but you can erase and adjust them as you go along. And then I'll draw the pupils. And this shows the direction that the dog is looking in. If you want the dog to be looking up, you can have the pupils facing up. If you want the dog to be looking straight at you, you can have the pupils in the center. Just really depends on what mood you're trying to create for the dog, where you want his attention to be. or her attention. Okay, now that we have the outline, the one last thing that we should outline is the leash. Okay, now that we have our dog outlined, we know where we want everything to go. So we can start working on the shading. So this particular dog has a speckled fur or spotted fur. So let's work with the spots. I'm going to start with the nose. And then there's a patch around the eyes. And let's work on the other eye. Since our coloring is still using the number 2 pencil, I'm not going to worry about the grid lines. We can just color right over the grid lines because it's going to be the same color as the grid, so you shouldn't notice it. When you apply the grid lines, you're going to want to apply a really faint coat. Every dog is going to be a little different. Alright, so now we're working on the nose. This is the darkest part right here, so you want to make that nice and dark, and it also helps with the eyes because right now that's our darkest point in the drawing. Now the part, the top, where there was the top of the heart, we can just fill that in with a lighter gray. That helps with the shading. We're going to skip our leash. We'll come back to that later. Once you're happy with your spots, you can use your eraser to erase any of the grid lines that still remain in your dog. You can also go ahead and erase the grid lines in the grass. Okay, once your grid lines are erased, you can add in the color. To add the color, let's use our pink. We'll add in some pink highlights in a few spots. There's a lot of pink by the toes. Next, let's work on the leash. It's blue. I'm doing light blue first. And I'm going to do some lines with the dark blue. Drawing a black patch and some lines for the metal. And then finally, take your green. I want to do a darker green for the grass. And then just do some cross hatching, so some side to side. It doesn't have to be in a particular pattern. You just want the grass to be going in every direction. I'm going to add some highlights. Takes the dark brown and add in some shading. And some more light green. Helps give it that nice grassy texture. And there you have it. That's our dog. Thank you for joining us in Library Drawing Party. We hope to see you again next week. We have library drawing parties every Wednesday at 7 p.m. And keep being creative.